All right, today's day 12, and I'm still feeling sick. I'm feeling in some ways a little better than yesterday, in some ways a little worse than yesterday. I think my congestion is better, but I think I am feeling more fatigued today. I do want to do a few art month things. I want to keep tinkering with my video synth, maybe make a few more patterns, and I think that'll be fun. And then I also want to play with the model samples that I have on loan a little more. Maybe I'll watch some YouTube videos about that, watch some tutorials, and get a little inspiration. It looks so nice outside, and I'm really bummed that I'm stuck inside. I don't think I feel up to really doing anything outside, but maybe I'll go for a walk later or something like that. I think right now I might actually just play video games for a little bit. Maybe I'll play Baldur's Gate for a little. I'm just feeling kind of down and I want to be distracted, and I don't really feel up for doing a lot of thinking at the moment. It's currently 12:30 ish, and I'm still sick, so I think I should go to bed and get some rest. But I wanted to just give a little update. I kind of just lazed around a lot today, but I did wind up doing a few art month things. And I was just tinkering with my video synth a little bit more. But earlier in the day, I laid around a lot. I watched a lot of TikToks, went on Reddit. I watched some True Blood episodes. I'm on season 4. It's very good. I watched that movie, The Iron Claw, which I'd been meaning to watch for a while. Then I also played Baldur's Gate, and that was really fun. I still have not finished Baldur's Gate, my first playthrough, but maybe now I will. And then I was also feeling kind of down, so I went up on the roof at Maggie's suggestion with a camping chair, and I just read my book on the roof and looked out at the beautiful city, breathed some fresh air, felt some sun on my face, and I think that was really helpful. After that, I kind of had a little burst of energy, and I came down and I cleaned up a bunch of stuff in the house. It feels good to have a slightly cleaner house. I also just wanted to add some reflections about Art Month so far. It is November 10th, which means that this is the... Oh, well, it was November 9th. Now it's after midnight, so it's November 10th, so I guess there's one more day. But this is sort of concluding the second full week of my time off from work. And time flies, I can't believe it's been 2 weeks already. I've done a lot of wonderful things during Art Month, and I still have 3 weeks left to go. A little bit of travel in there. I feel like I have learned a few things about my creative process and how I like to work, and some things that don't work also. So I just wanted to add those here a little bit. I think one thing I learned is that getting a jump on the morning makes a big difference in terms of how long the day feels and how much I can get done. There's something about the difference between getting to work on art projects at 9 versus at 11. It's only 2 hours, but I feel like it makes a huge difference in terms of how it feels the day is going. And so I think that was really interesting because I started to consider myself a night owl lately during this Art Month time, and a little bit before that even. I've been prioritizing sleep a little more. I get migraines every now and then, and I had a few, and I sort of reflected that I had been having a lot of coffee and not sleeping very well, and so I was trying to be more intentional about my sleep recently, and that's meant that I haven't had my late night project time. I feel like I'm historically a lot of my best work has happened 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. I feel like it's very quiet and pensive, and there's not a lot of other distractions, and there aren't other things I'd rather be doing outside. It's a good mixture of things for doing art projects. This art month experiment has been really interesting as like a, alternative structure for my time. And like what would it feel like to be able to use the full daylight hours to do art projects. And so as a result, I think I've been able to like really maintain a very regular and solid sleep schedule, which feels good. And again, I think like those getting a couple morning hours feels really, really good. I have also learned that the optimal number of projects to work on in a day is two. I think that when I spend the entire day working on one project, oftentimes I'm working on one task in one project. Like it can feel like I haven't made that much progress, or like the day just flew by and I was so absorbed in this one thing that like the day just kind of all melds together. And so I think that like working on two projects in a day feels like I get a big chunk of time to work on each one of them. It feels like I'm mixing things up, like I am giving my brain a break from one thing and working on a different thing. But also, trying to do three or four things in a day is too much, and I don't get to stuff, and then I feel bad about it, I think. So I think two things is a good number of things. I also think I've learned that working on the same thing day after day after day after day is very difficult. Again, for the same reasons, like it sometimes doesn't feel like I'm making as much progress as I want to, but it can also, like, I think I'm starting to get a little bit stressed out with my synthesizer stuff, going so hard on it early in art month. After doing it for like a week straight, I was like, drive myself crazy a little bit, and it felt good to sort of switch gears, and now I'm feeling inspired to do music again. So that was an interesting learning. I also think that I have been getting a little bit antsy spending the day inside. Probably that has a little bit to do with the fact that it gets dark so early now. So I think I do want to try going out and about a little more just to, mix it up and get some different experiences in there. And then I think another learning is that I have just been really liking it. I think I'm having a great time. I don't feel bored. I feel just like motivated and excited about my projects. I feel like I'm making, great progress on things that I was like pushing off for a long time. Yeah, I do also want to show something with the video synthesizer really quick. This is a very small thing, but one of the things I've been trying to figure out is like how to create motion that feels good in the video synth. And without getting too into the weeds, I want to just show something. So this is just like a variation on that pulsing square pattern. There's two squares and they kind of move horizontally and they're not really in sync. But I added another button on this that lets you switch it to like they slow down and they get filled in. So they're fast and empty or slow and filled. It's kind of fun to just like go back and forth between them. Like you could almost imagine kind of like doing it regularly to a beat or like doing this in the sequencer or something and like having like a like that feels pretty satisfying, I think. And it feels good to just like play it by hand too, but like this kind of like, rhythmic thing is like something that I would want to be able to sequence with this video synthesizer. So that was an interesting experiment. And then I was also doing some more research about this LED thing. I found a library called Fab LED that could be helpful for driving the LEDs. I haven't tried it yet, and I forget some of the details, but when I was reading the documentation yesterday, it seemed like there was something in there that could be helpful. The other two options are, one, I could get another board in there to drive the LEDs separately. The third option I got from a forum response when I did that post. The microcontroller that I'm using is based on a chip called the RP2040. There's a beefier version of it called the RP2350, which has more of those PIO peripherals that I mentioned, and it actually has the capacity to drive like a bigger display. I think that could be sort of the magic bullet for this project, although it is currently out of stock. So I could try to find it from another supplier. I could wait until it comes back in stock. That could be like a version 2 thing. I could swap it in later. There's like a bunch of options. I don't know when these things are going to come back in stock. Fingers crossed that it's like tomorrow or whatever. I kind of think I want to try to get my hands on one of those. So I have to think about that a little more. But anyway, pretty chill art month day, but that's the point of our month. It's supposed to be chill. So I think I'm gonna call that day 12, and I'll see you tomorrow.